You know how sometimes people say you can measure the potential of a new partner by how they treat the waitstaff when you go out? Well, I've got another one of those to suggest. Do they speed up when they see someone ahead of them put on their blinker to merge into their lane? Because what the fuck? I'm not saying you should immediately break up with them because of that, but there's a lot to unpack there. What are they doing? I bet my wife thinks that guy's pretty hot. Is the thought that popped into my head last night as I was watching TV and the main character biked across the screen. But then I had an immediate realization. I was the only person involved in making that observation. It was all in my head. Which means that the idea that this guy was hot was my idea. Had nothing to do with my wife. And then in my mind, without even meaning to, I projected it onto her. Probably because of some deeply entrenched and likely toxic sense of how I'm supposed to think and feel as a straight person. I don't know. Anyway, later I asked my wife, do you think this guy's good looking? And she was like, he's not ugly. He got cast in a starring role, so yeah, I guess. I don't know. So I guess the point of this little story is that my wife and I have different taste in men.
Research has shown the single biggest determining factor in whether a happy relationship will last. In 1990, psychologist John Gottman set up a lab to feel like a lovely bed and breakfast, then brought in couples to watch how they interact. Somehow this feels like a very pleasant and a very creepy experiment all at once. But I digress. Over the course of his research, he found a single action that he could literally just count and then predict with 94% accuracy whether a relationship would remain happy. When one partner says, "Oh, that's a beautiful bird outside," does the other partner respond with something like, "Wow, that is beautiful"? Or do they blow their partner off and ignore the bird? It's a tiny moment, but that's what makes them important because there can be so many of them. They pile up. Gottman famously termed these interactions bids. We're asking for a small connection. How's our partner going to respond? And he discovered that couples that would later split up only turned toward each other 33% of the time. But the couples that made it, for the several years he was testing anyway, 9 out of 10 times. Point being, when the love of your life points at a bird, look at the fucking bird. It's the small things that create connection. In fact, there's another study that somewhat counterintuitively shows that happy relationships are built more on how we treat each other in happy times than how much we're there for each other in hard times. But that's for another video. Come along if you feel like it.
Yes. There is a verse in the Bible that says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. And I used to take that verse literally, staying up half the night to finish an argument when I could have just gone to bed and slept it off, slept it out, woken up fine. Oh my God. I was eating cheese curds and watching Fleabag with my wife the other night and thinking about how there's one key aspect to a long-term healthy relationship that no one ever acknowledges. Like, yeah, you can Google and come up with a long list of good things required in a mutually fulfilling relationship. Respect, honesty, open communication, etc. Yes to all that. But you know what no one tells you? A healthy relationship requires luck. Just plain old dumb luck. No amount of commitment's gonna work without a healthy dose of good fortune too. Every relationship's a risk. Like, you can't predict how it's gonna turn out, especially at the beginning. It's a leap of faith. Or more negatively, a gamble. Yeah, that's it. Relationships are a casino. A few people win big, some people break even, a lot of people leave with less than they arrived with but still had a nice time, and some people lose everything. Now there are smart ways to act in a casino and smart ways to act in a relationship, but there are no strategies that guarantee you a win. You're just doing your best and playing the odds. Now, I was thinking I might try to find a way to end this that wasn't depressing, but apparently not. If you're in a happy relationship, that's awesome. Me too. Let's not be too impressed with ourselves. Is your partner an idiot for being with you? I mean, yeah, maybe, but why would you want to point that out?
I know a couple guys who like to praise their wives by saying that they married up, but all I hear is that those women married down. Is that really something you want the ladies to dwell on? Or sometimes people are like, I don't deserve my partner. And that can come from a good place. If your partner hears that as a compliment, great. Cool. But you're not really saying something nice about the love of your life when you denigrate yourself. You're questioning their taste. You're impugning their decision making, and you're calling into question their ability to do quality control. How'd they let you slip through? Wondering how you attained your partner insinuates that either they let their guard down or they let their standards go. Like if they knew the truth about you, they'd never be with you. Now, I am all for exaggeratory compliments, but why not something like, I want this moment with you to last forever, or you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. There's no need to insult all the parties involved with various versions of, I don't deserve you. Because you do deserve your partner, and they deserve you. And if that makes you uncomfortable,
here's a key to relationships that most people would call a bad thing. Being non-communicative. You always hear that open communication is key, and that's not wrong, but it's a key, not the key. Because good communication is about balance. There's nothing healthy about always sharing your feelings. You can't have too much of things like love or respect or pickles, but communication is not on that list. Communication has to be offset by its opposite. And everyone who's ever felt the need for peace and quiet knows this, because peace and quiet is just a positive way to say non-communication. But silence is not the only or the most important kind of non-communication. The most important kind is what I grew up calling
forbearance. It basically means a willingness to put up with someone's shit. Not in a bottling up your emotions kind of way. If that's what's happening, yes, communicate. No, forbearance is genuinely letting it roll off of you and then leaving it behind. Should this apply to everything? No. Should it apply to some things? If you feel safe together? Yeah. Nobody should have to put up with all of someone's shit, but if you're not willing to put up with some of it, why are you together? To be in a relationship like this where you quietly put up with each other's fuck-ups, that's freedom. And it's only possible when you don't communicate. Sometimes. All right, that's enough. If you like reframing things so you don't feel so bad about the way you are, which is what I'm doing for myself here, come along. I got more.